Join the crew as a member of the Onyx Key for exclusive members-only messages, redirections, and content. We already have a bunch of videos live with some familiar topics as well as new questions, so I'll see you on the other side of the Onyx Key. Make sure you hit the join button to go deeper down this experience with me. Hey family, so we are back with another pick a card love reading. We're gonna be picking some more past life pies. When we see, is this a past life, divine masculine, divine feminine, love, or soulmate, and any karma associated with the connection, good or bad, right? Now we want to lean into the good as we always do, but obviously where the shadow is loud, we don't run away from it, right? So I'm gonna hold the thumbnail up so that you can choose your piles. Pile number 1 is the sweet potato pie with toasted marshmallow. Pile number 2 is the mixed berry pie. Pile number 3 is the apple pie. And then pile number 4 is the peach pie. I'll give you a moment to make your selection. And if you need more time, go ahead and pause the video. All right, pile 1, my sweet potato pie, toasted marshmallow. We're gonna see, is this person on your mind a divine, feminine, masculine, soulmate, the past life tie, and any karma? And I'm just gonna go ahead and let you know that whatever you're thinking about this person, for better or for worse, spot on. Like, I did the thing where I sneezed immediately into your pile, and I heard the words, like my people say, must be the truth. And that's basically what it is. Like, whatever you're feeling strongly about this person, again, for better or for worse, must be the truth. So your intuition is spot on regarding this connection, even if you don't know like the lingo, even if you're not really esoteric like that. Some of you casually watch videos like this. Whatever depth you think is there, it is or is not. Okay, so tell me, is this a past life soulmate for my pile 1? And look at that, the sign that rules the esoteric energy. And for me, the timeline of me filming this video is interesting, and it's letting me know that whenever you find this, your intuition is heightened. Like, you're very grounded, you're very stable, so your intuition, if you're even psychic, your abilities are spot on. They're very precise. This full moon in Pisces was the most recent full moon in the real time for me, and it was also an eclipse, right? So when we talk about the nodal axis and eclipses, that's the depth of this connection, right? For better, for worse. Whether it's you feel like it's a strong, intensely karmic in a negative sense connection, or if you feel like this is like the divine union you've been seeking, okay? This is a pile where it's not going to be any on the fence. Whatever your strongest emotion about this person is, that's what it is, okay? Whether it's you don't want anything to do with them or you're trying to be all up on them, okay? Very, very grounded. So let me see here what's at the bottom. Nothing is yet set in stone. And it's okay, even if your intuition is spot on, because this is the energy of like dreams, and like you would be dreaming of this person. You'd be feeling connected to this person. You almost feel like a telepathic connection with this person. But even if there's difficulty or distance or just circumstances that make it inconvenient for now, doesn't change whatever it is, right? Because we have the energy of transitioning, which this full moon in Pisces rules. It happens Virgo season, the opposite axis, and both of those are mutable signs. So you could have mutable placements. This person could be dominant in mutable placements, dominantly Pisces and or Virgo, okay? But there's some type of transition, there's some type of shift that may be making it feel like the waves on this card, and that's okay. Doesn't change the lighter side of this being a divine union. It just means that what you sense in spirit, very accurate, and in being very practical and grounded, the energy is coming down to the 3D, right? Like the orchestration is occurring for this to ground in the 3D, where it's not been the most stable, okay? Whatever your specific circumstances are. So tell me more. When we talk about the shadow, I will say the karmic energy surrounding the shadow side of this pile, like, I don't get any details about the shadow beyond the confusion and illusion, right? It feels like a connection where there's a lot of instability and blurred lines, and I could see why the people on the lighter side would be kind of questioning their reality, okay, and questioning whether they're being grounded about it, because the shadow, this feels like 12th house synastry, okay? Because remember, this sign rules the 12th house. So it's where you lose sight of where you begin and this person begins, where you lose sight of where you end and where they end. It's like merging in a way that possibly may be unhealthy, okay? It feels like the type of shadow connection where you would be chasing a cord cutting because you can't shake this person's energy despite not wanting anything to do with them. So the shadow is more prominent where there's a lot of dysfunction that this person brings into your life. That is the karma, where we're talking about really bad things. When we're talking about the lighter side, it feels like there may be a questioning of the stability of the connection, but it's more external factors and this person kind of signifying the closing of cycles, the closing and ending of an era. That's what I've got for the lighter side. Okay, whereas the shadow, this person seems to be more of a catalyst in your grounding and realizing what isn't going to benefit you. And I want to clear up what I just said the way I said it, because both sides of the pile, this person can be a catalyst, but the differentiator is how this person is in fact the catalyst. Are they the source of the dysfunction, confusion, and instability? If this person is the direct source, then that means it's a negative karmic situation where this person is trying to teach you grounding, stability, and whatnot by highlighting the aspects of yourself you can't see. It gives hidden enemy vibes, right? Remember that the house design rules is hidden enemies as well as hidden allies. So the lighter side would be a person that's bringing things into your life that you don't even realize how much they're benefiting you. It's the type of person that kind of inspires you, makes you want to be a little bit better, and you might not even realize that this person's the one that's making you want to be this way until you really like kind of sit with yourself and think about it, or if that person's no longer around. Okay, I've got the 4 of Cups here of turning in. So the nature of this connection, for better or for worse, is to help you tune into yourself. It is here to help you ground, be practical, be stable, right? Understanding how to trust your intuition and to ground it into your truth, right? Because again, the shadow is creating all of that dysfunction and is a catalyst for all of that dysfunction, because you're easily moved, right? When we talk about mutable energy, it's very flexible, it's very adaptive, it's very roll with it. If you have a tendency to be a little too fluid, right, not balanced, just rolling with anything and anyone, any way, that's the point of turning into yourself to see, who are you, what do you want, how do you want to live, right? What type of connection do you want? What habits will you tolerate for yourself and others, right? Like, it's kind of like making sure that you know when to detach from things that aren't in alignment with who you are and where you want to be, okay? That's why it feels like a shadow that could be really bad, and you would know. Yeah, we got a celebration. Okay, tell me more. I got control. Exactly, turning and control, the same thing. This person's here to help you graduate to the next cycle, right? To help you be grounded and stable enough to excel and be celebrated and celebrate the next cycle, right? It's about maturity, it's about control, it's about discipline, it's about practicality, okay? No longer just rolling with anything, going for anything, right? In the lighter side of this pile, this is a couple that's, the union is in fact the indicator of this graduation of sorts, right? Yeah, look at that. We got the lovers. We got another mutable sign. So we've got all except Sagittarius on the table, right? Got Virgo, Pisces, and now we have Gemini. And what I love about the fact that all but Sagittarius is on the table, Sagittarius talks about expansion, right? It's where we move beyond, go far and wide. And Pisces talks about where we're within ourselves, within our spirit. Virgo is the details of the day-to-day. Gemini is more our communication style and our localized spaces. So this is, as a confirmation, this is likely someone that's very familiar to you, your upbringing, and or you've crossed paths in some type of smaller vicinity. What I mean by that is smaller towns, maybe on a road trip. Like, this isn't someone that you encountered like traveling, like destination travel, right? Where you're traveling far, far and wide. I'm talking cars, trains, bikes. That's the instances, okay? All right. The reason why that's super relevant to the story here in the karmic contract is because the whole point is to become more familiar with yourself, who you are, where you come from, and your immediate surroundings, your immediate environment, and being more present now versus looking too far ahead or dwelling in what was, okay? Ooh, that's deep. I didn't even get all these cards. I'm already like, let me see. Y'all picked this sweet potato pie and was like, yeah, this gonna be great, like a personal reading. I've got house 7 of profound relationships, intimacy, romantic partnerships. I'm telling you. Yeah, we got the magician. So look, this is actually doubling down on the whole message, whole theme, because both of these cards are ruled. If you have to pick a sign, they're both ruled by Gemini. But the magician is technically Mercury, which rules Virgo as well as Gemini. So relevant seasons, relevant signs. But I really wanted you to see the lovers along with the house 7. You and this person were always meant to connect for this development where someone stagnates or get too out of control, for better, for worse, right? So that's why where you feel strong negative energy, the connection is supposed to be bad like that to trigger you for your growth. It's part of making you into who you're meant to become. And on the lighter side, guess what? Same vibe, right? That's why it's giving intense soulmate, potentially twin flame, because you know those labels, and I'm not as familiar with them, y'all, so like don't hold me accountable for misusing the words and the titles, but like I think I remember where they were like false twin flames or something like that, whatever they were referring to that, and it's like a heavy karmic, and like maybe you mistake for a twin flame. I think I remember the lingo back in the day. It feels like the shadow is that, where it's like everything that makes me be the reader I am when I'm like so against those labels. This is what the shadow is, because I find that people that cling to those labels end up in really toxic connections, and it's like, no, that's my twin flame, and they start throwing out labels like runner, chaser, and they start sticking to somebody, chasing somebody that they should have left alone possibly years ago. That's the shadow, okay? And that's why the lighter side is this. So, and look at that. Neptune, the ruler of this full moon in Pisces. Some of you, maybe specifically a full moon in Pisces was a relevant transit, whether this year, last year, next year, regarding this person. This is especially the case where we're talking about those eclipses, okay? Because it was an eclipse last year in 24. It's an eclipse this year in 25. We've passed it, and I believe it may be. I don't think we're gonna get another one in 26. Don't take my word for it. There may be one next year, but the point is it's happened on multiple occasions, okay? But look at that fantasy illusion in the 7th house, right? Neptune in the 7th is very dreamy. It's very 12th house-esque. It's like two people that it's a very psychic connection. It's telepathy. That's why when it's bad, it's really bad, because it's like you're dreaming of each other. It feels very invasive and all of the things. And even on the lighter side, it feels that way because you're still dreaming about this person, right? You still feel like you're connected to this person despite time, despite distance. That's why we have all of this localized energy, because it's like no matter how much physical distance, you two are still connected. So I got a couple more decks I'm going to pull and then close you out your advice. I think this was a really thorough reading. And I'm actually very impressed with how clear the energy came through. Don't mind me, y'all. I'm in here trying to get back to my thumbnail. Okay. Tell me more about my sweet potato pie with a toasted marshmallow on top. More specifically, the masculine associated with the connection, the person that's more masculine leaning is meant to really develop, really become more detached and disengaged with certain behaviors. Like, this is really an era of ushering into maturity, right? I got someone that's disengaged, detached, right? Literally learns how to tune out all the noise. I actually love this depiction because you can see all the spirits around, all of the people, all of the voices, and she's just like, I don't hear any of that garbage, right? And then I've got the King of Swords of control, which I know exactly what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it. I'm going to be in control of how I consume information, how I react to people, right? Like, that seems to be a huge deal. This maturity of that masculine, especially where we talk about a lot of partying and overconsumption. I won't lean into the addiction theme where that applies to one or both parties in a connection, you know, personally that's you. But I'm gonna take that excessive drinking, sex addict, unhealthy coping mechanisms. Doesn't have to be a literal intense addiction. It could just be too much partying, too much leisure, too much too little discipline, too little accountability, right? I see that on my table, okay? And the connection, the union, kind of grounding someone in that regard. And again, the dominant energy here is that King of Swords. So I'm gonna pull, I'll take 3 more, make it even on the table. Look at that rebellious energy. That's somebody that's loud, active, outside, okay? And the reason why I'm taking the shadow here is it's going to ground someone and make them be more accountable for their life, because this is a shadow combination in that it is someone that's just doing whatever, however, with no structure. Okay. And again, because we have dominant, someone that lives in La La Land, right? Neptune rules illusion, fantasy, rose-colored glasses, not seeing things as they actually are. Yeah, we got a performer. Okay. And I've got religious. Same vibe. Exactly what I was talking about, that religious card. When I talk about that grounding, stability, maturity, right? It can be religious in a spirituality sense. But I'm getting more that discipline, that regimen, that grounding, and being more stable as a person energy, right? Performer feels like someone that's doing the things that they need to be doing the way that they need to be doing it. Whether we're talking about being a performer at work, day to day, being active in your life, right? That's all here. All right, so that's the lesson that this person, for better for worse, is ushering in, right? Where you lack the discipline, where you're real relaxed and flexible. This person kind of is a catalyst for where that is a limitation for you, where that's a blind spot. We got a deeper intimacy, which is absolutely 12th house synastry. So I dragged this on a little longer than I wanted to, but y'all got some good stuff. So I'm going to take one card from this and get your advice. So give me the most critical overall theme from my sweet potato pie with the toasted marshmallow regarding this person that is either a karmic or soulmate, right? What's the most critical theme for my pal one to know regarding this connection they're asking about today? I just want one. Okay. Hey, look at you. The critical theme is clarity. It says someone finally sees the answer that was always right in front of their eyes. The vision is clear. Therefore, what is to come shall be clear too. And I mentioned, what's the first thing I did when I got in your energy? I sneezed and said, must be the truth. The clarity of where this person falls in your soul tribe of soulmates, right? For better, for worse, where you clearly can tell this is something that's really good, really healthy, that uplifts you and improves you, as well as this other person. It's very clear. Soulmate, right? You got the 7th house of partnerships. You got the lovers, right? We even got a spiritual indicator of religious, someone you should be wanting to spend your day-to-day with, someone that keeps you on track versus derailing it. You see the difference? Keeps you on track versus derailing it. All right. So clarity of a soulmate. I'm just going to get your advice and let it ride. All right, pile one. What advice do we have for you regarding this connection? Okay, the shadow, you gotta let it go. You gotta cut ties. Like you do in fact need a cord cutting. Okay, where this is real bad and you know it. Okay, there's no way to not know it unless you are the type that is in that addictive energy of self-medicating, of self-delusion, right? Where you're not seeing life clearly, where you're not fully present. You won't know that you need to cut ties, but like if you are lucid, you will know where you need to cut ties because it's bad. Like the bad on the table is like ruining your own life. It's self-sabotage. Is this person sabotaging you, whether intentionally so or not? Because the thing about the hidden enemies of the 12th house, they don't always know they're hidden enemies. They just, their path and the things that they're wanting to do and even potentially should be doing conflict with yours, right? So most hidden enemies of your 12th house are not malicious. They are derailing you because that's the karmic energy between the two of you. They may be completely oblivious to it. Okay. So where that's the side you're on, you're going to cut ties. That said, what did I talk about? The era of maturity. Okay. Whether we're talking about a masculine becoming more mature via the connection as you, or this being a more mature masculine kind of ushering in an era of maturity for a feminine as well, because it could be interpreted that way. You're going to cut ties with that old cycle, right? You're going to use the wisdom to cut ties with that cycle. We're transitioning, right? We're closing a cycle. We're ending a season, as all mutable signs do. All right. So I'm going to close you out and move along to pile number 2. All right. Pile number 2, my mixed berry pie. We're going to see if this person on your mind is a past life soulmate, divine masculine, divine feminine, any karmic contracts associated with this person. All right. And you. It's a lot that hit me at once. For starters, I know that like when you see like mixed berry pie, I almost feel like that's more of a summer pie, but something about it, it just felt like fall harvest. Like it could be the vines, I don't know. So we're rolling with it. The thing that I want you guys to be very cognizant about before I even start pulling cards is the answers are coming regarding this connection, regarding the stability of the connection. Like it's going to come through. Honestly, if you're watching real time, it might even come through. Oh yeah, because look at this. Look at how this came through. I was gonna say around this full moon Gemini real time, whether we're talking about something happened already that clarified things or about to, because this is around Sagittarius season, and the full moon in Taurus happens around Scorpio season. So we're talking about the middle to the end of fall. You'll get clarity, for better, for worse, okay? Or you did, because it's timeless. The reason why I say that, matter of fact, yep, fall, because I got Libra here. So I got the sign that begins fall. I've got the full moon that happens in the middle of fall, and I've got the full moon that happens at the end of fall. You see how that happened accidentally or coincidentally in synchronicities, right? So that's the clarity, the end, regardless of what I say. I've got playfulness. I've got enchanted love. I love that. It feels like being high on life, high on love. But the reason why that's bad is because that implies that the shadow is high on life, high on love in a way that is ungrounded, and it's not real, right? Because before this landed here, I dropped this deck. It went splash all over the place. I had to collect each one. And I'm like getting the vision of things like this, of something being destroyed, and you not realizing that it's being destroyed until like it's too late. It's already done. This feels like a person or a couple together just spiraling down a rabbit hole to Wonderland, like Alice in Wonderland, right? It feels like loud music just drowning out everything else in the room. And like in that wave of like spiraling down a rabbit hole, or like having music just drowning out everything around you, it's like you don't even realize what's happening because you literally can't hear what's happening, or you're not like lucid enough to see what's happening. Like that's the shadow. And I do not mind, I don't mean to lead with it, but it was so scary, and like you don't even realize the destruction that you're already like in. And like you don't realize, it's kind of like, I like to talk about the Seven of Swords a lot. And like, you know how that card is a thief in the night? It's kind of like you went to sleep and everything was fine. You had everything you needed. And then you woke up the next morning and it was all gone. That's the wave of the shadow here. Like it feels like a karmic that would ruin somebody's life. And I don't want to lead with it because I know how y'all are. Y'all going to get mad at me. But I'm going to grab these cards. I'm going to start pulling cards. So that, first of all, this is out of order. You know what? Maybe it's not. We'll leave it like it is. I'm not going to fight back. Especially if this is someone like you travel a lot. Either, I accidentally almost said travel a lot to see, or, I meant to say travel a lot with, like y'all always everywhere but home. Okay. You know, at the bottom of Melon and Pop is the powerful man, and I got someone needing healing, whether it's from this connection or just being a wounded person. So let me hurry up. I'm going to pull through these real quick because I'm not playing around with this energy. I think that was all we really needed to know about the shadow, and any details we'll get, because I do want to lead. I want to step into the lighter side of here. So tell me about this mixed berry pile. There's two. I've got the full moon in Cancer, which says a personal issue reaches resolution and prosperity lies ahead. This is a very interesting thing. Okay, so here's what's catching me off guard. I've not read energy like this, so y'all helping me out. Y'all are teaching me as a psychic, right? The shadow is very much alive and present, where it is actually the shadow here. The reason why it came through first, very loud, very aggressive, is because the lighter side of this pile, That's like a karmic cycle that closed. When we talk about a personal issue reaching resolution and prosperity lies ahead, it feels like that may have been a history in some type of connection that influenced your life. Okay, and if that happened, you're in your right place, right space. When we talk about the lighter side, because we're talking about having faith in your dreams, we have, again, a personal issue resolved with the full moon, and we worked our way back down to the beginning of a new moon, of a new cycle, and we are now waxing at the crescent moon. That's this pile on the lighter side. It's like rediscovering yourself after whatever that chaos was. And again, be mindful that you are not actively in it. Okay, so if you're asking about no, I'm not gonna do it, because some of you are gonna misinterpret that and misalign. So let me pull these cards. Okay, tell me more about how to. Yeah, we got participation. So what I'll say is I didn't, this is the first time I think I've gotten a pile where it's like, okay, crushes are here. This is the story. People that are connected are here. This is the story. Because if you're asking about a crush, like someone you've not been connected to romantically, like it's real new, the table says there's a lot of potential, because prosperity lies ahead and having faith. Participation is in fact the marriage card, where we're stepping into marriage, stepping into a new home, which houses are ruled by sign of Taurus when we talk about assets. Houses are ruled by the sign of Cancer when we talk about sentimental value, the intangibles. So both signs ruling houses are here, and I got the sign of a new house. So some of you is literally to start a family, to start a home. That's the contract, right? And when we talk about literal getting a house together, that's part of that contract. Okay, I got conditioning, I got a rebel. Okay, I got an awakening of a divine masculine. We're taking it. Somebody, something about the two, because I got two here and these two fell together. I've got number 11 here of justice. Okay, so we got the breakthrough of conditioning and a rebellious spirit. Okay, we got a rebellious spirit that is grounding and stabilizing into a home, into a family. Okay, that's the breakthrough. That's the conclusion. All right. This is a pile of actually really, really good luck, because unfortunately for the shadow, if you're actively experiencing it, it's going to create the fresh start. Like this is one of those past, present, and coming piles of some of you are still in that shadow, whether you realize it or not, and you'll eventually break through. Others of you are like, yeah, girl, you're reading my past and I've broken through and I'm a little jaded, concerned about where I'm headed due to the past. Okay. But I'm seeing where the shadow is to break a rebellious spirit. I don't know what that means, because it's going to be different for all of you. Okay, like there's a certain conditioning that needs to happen or has happened that's making someone like this rebellious energy, like, because the word participation and the rebel is standing out, right? Like needing to participate and be less rebellious, if that makes sense. Because that is actually the justice card does rule like legalities and partnerships. It rules participation. It rules your contracts, your business deals, and things like that. Your one-on-one partnerships, the way you connect with other people. Okay. So tell me more. Let me keep trucking along with this part too. But this mixed fairy pile. What's the karmic contract between these people? Healing. Okay. Healing. We got air sign energy. That is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And I have Chiron. Okay. Which, again, that is my wounded healer. I'm just trying to get y'all straight. Straightening you up. All right. So, my wounded healer of people that, you know, those phrases that people use too much on the internet, like trauma bonding. It feels like that, for better, for worse. Okay, connecting mentally, connecting with one another based on historical issues, like really feeling seen by one another. Okay, the shadow is you're conditioning one another that your rebellious nature in whatever area of life is a thing that should be, but like you're encouraging self-sabotaging behaviors in each other. That's why it's like that. And that's why the lighter side is so pure, is because it's two people that are healing together. You've reached a certain level of healing solo with the rebel, and you're connecting on your past. Like, you're connecting on where you were, and this person is able to meet you at a certain depth that most people can't, because they have experienced what you've experienced before. That's what I've gotten here. You're connecting intellectually, you're connecting mentally. All right. So this is out of order. So I want to see what this deck wants. Tell me about my pile 2. My mixed berry pie. Tell me about this connection. We got make a move. Accountability. And I'll take one more for the sake of space. Yeah, communication is here. Family and friends is here. There's a heavy theme in being accountable for how you interact with other people, explicitly your family and friends. Okay? Whether it's just the way you're interacting with people, or just being accountable for your desire for a family and maybe even more friends, if that makes sense. So that's this person's role, is making you, giving you more of a home where we talk about actual family as well as extended family via like community and things like that. That seems to be the goal of this union. Okay, whether the shadow is a catalyst that pushes you to the place, space, environment where you actually find this, right? Because sometimes catalysts, in the worst sense, they push you somewhere somehow that you wouldn't have naturally led yourself, right? It's like sometimes if something happens and shifts you, you don't have a choice. The lighter side here is you're coming together to be more accountable for your connections, okay? And that's the goal of this couple, is the connections with others, whether we're talking about, again, family, friends, creating a family, being involved outside. Okay. Especially when we talk about areas of life that need healing. So tell me about, feels like a couple in the lightest of sense that people look to, that people look up to, that people are inspired by, possibly even like counsels other couples. Okay. Yeah, we got the gifts, landing on family and friends. Feels like the couple that does all of the holiday stuff, right? Yeah, does all the holiday stuff. Look at that. Before I even like knew this was here, as this was jumping out, I said all the holiday stuff. The couple that brings family together. The couple that has the holidays at their house, regardless of the holiday, but obviously emphasis on Christmas here. Like, this is the couple, the lightest couple of Christmas is at your house. Whether it's because you just got the nicer house, whether it's because you just have all of the stuff, it feels very warm and welcoming to everyone. Your house is the house of healing, of the home. Like, this is a union meant to create a home. All right. Slow and steady. You are my world. It's more of a slow burn. It's not fast. Okay. Matter of fact, the the key indicator of the lighter side, look at that. They're helping us, throwing us a little bone. The lighter side of this pile is a slow and steady progression. This is not a hot and heavy. This is not a, oh, we together, we're going to quickly move in together. It's not, we're going to quickly hurry up and start having kids together. It's slow and steady. Okay. A slow courtship, slow to make a move. Honestly, it feels like two people that are interested in each other for a long time before actually connecting, even in a courtship, right? When we talk about someone making a move, the move is made way after the initial interest. Okay. So we've got that. And then once the move is made, it's still a slow progression to the connection, which is why there's time to build a home. Okay. And the athlete card here is actually the bottom of your deck. It talks about being dedicated, right? When we talk about training and hobby, talent, active game, and sports, those are events, right? Like, it feels like the type of couple that has kids that participates in things outside, not just holiday, but participates in things outside. And where this is a couple that never has children biologically, maybe adopts, or it's very out in the community to where all of the holiday stuff, all of the extracurricular hobby stuff associated with like children and things like that, this couple participates in. So the lighter side of this pile, the reason why it's distinct and why the clarity is going to come is because it's no drama. It's too stable, too grounded, too slow to have all these problems, if that makes sense, right? Like, the problems that maybe this coupling would encounter are minute in the grand scheme of their connection, because like the shadow feels more hot and heavy. Like, we're going to be here, there, everywhere, just jumping up and like being very quick, very active in a way that is sporadic, I almost want to say, because again, there's a heavy emphasis on being slow, of building, of establishing relationships with family members and friends, and like meeting new friends via the connection. Like, that's what I've gotten. Okay, it's very easygoing, right? And that's just what I'm seeing. So let me get your advice and close you out. All right, what advice do I have for my pile 2, my mixed berry pile? What advice do we have for my mixed berry pile regarding this connection? I actually love that the lighter side stepped in, because it is a really sweet light side. Like, it's the couple where everybody does all the holidays at your house. All of the people in the neighborhood like love you. All of the kids in the neighborhood want to come to your house, because there's a certain part of your like, this coupling is meant to be a part of each other's destiny for this group. And the lighter side, where you're meant to influence other people's destiny, if that makes sense, right? Like, the destiny here is to influence, you know, possibly raise children that are going to impact other people someday. You're going to influence children around you in a way that impacts how they see the world, to where as they grow up, they'll influence the world in a way that maybe they would not have had they not encountered this couple. Right? Been influenced by this couple, whether it's holidays, whether it's extracurriculars, whatever it is. Okay. And the bottom is overcoming fear. So I'm going to let it ride, right? Overcome fear towards your destiny. The shadow of this pile is avoiding what's supposed to be done the way that it's supposed to be done, and is using this connection as a distraction. That's the part I was struggling with when I channeled at the very beginning. The shadow of this pile is using this connection to avoid who you're supposed to be, the way you're supposed to be it. Okay? The lighter side is, I don't know if it's intense. I don't know if it feels weird. I don't know what it is about the connection, but something about it is throwing you off and maybe has you a little afraid of it. But the pile says that this is the slow and steady progression. I don't know if maybe it is the slow nature of it. I don't know if maybe it is the maybe potential delays. But you're being encouraged to lean into this where it's lighter. And obviously, like I said, are you using this as a distraction from what you're actually supposed to be focusing your attention on. Okay. All right, so I'm going to close you out and move along to pile number 3. All right, pile 3, my apple pie. We're going to see if this person is a past life soulmate, divine masculine, divine feminine, any karmic contracts associated with you and this person. And an interesting energy hit the table for this apple pie. And I got I got a celebration here. Let's pull them out so you can see. I've got show the world the real you, that really loud Aquarius energy. So something about really loud energy, right? House 9, expensive loud energy. I've got show you off, loud energy. Something about this connection. There's somebody here that's like really crazy about the other, and it could be mutual, whether I'm talking about right now or early stages. You're all in different timelines, but somebody on the table is like, man, I am very interested in this person, like I'm crazy about this person. And the reason why it's a thing is because it feels like somebody on the table is like so loud and passionate about the other that they're literally like exposing this person, right? Like the person's, and I'm gonna say it vaguely like that because I don't know if I'm talking about your energy towards this person or this person's energy towards you in the union, because all of you, it'll be different. But there's someone here that is just so excited about this person or you that they're like all exposing you, like show the world the real you, show you off, show, right? And like making sure everybody can see, making sure all the friends know, like I am interested in this person, like I want it known. Okay, that's the biggest thing, is I want it known. And I'll say this, because I'm trying to see the actual karma between two people. I feel like this is a connection that's going to bring attention to you. It's going to bring a lot of attention to your extensive network of people, you know, your friends, your acquaintances, things like that. It will either bring attention in that sense, or it will expand your network, things like that, because the energy here is so loud. So this could actually be the couples of people that are like really destined to do business together, start a business together, right? Things like that. And boom, just like that, I've got the gibbous moon of you're very close to achieving your goal. And so it feels like this person's going to be critical to your destiny, critical to you reaching your goals. I do not have a loud shadow. Okay. The only way the shadow is here, and I don't have any details about it, will be this person brings a lot of attention to you in the worst way. Like they may be exposing you, okay? In some way that is really bad. So your dreams need a practical plan, full moon and Taurus. Watch it where we're talking about someone that's gonna like really damage your reputation, make you look bad. Okay, because that's the shadow at the end. Someone that makes you look bad. Okay, damages your reputation, makes you seem ungrounded, unstable. Okay, because the lighter side is somebody that's literally your partner in crime in this life. Like you are going to do this thing together. Okay, all right. So let me see. Tell me more about my pile 3, my apple pie. Is this a past life, divine masculine, feminine? What's the karmic contract between these two people? Okay. Compromise. The 6 of Pentacles. So we got the twins of compromise, which is interesting because that's not the traditional of that. This is the charitable giving card, where someone that has so much to offer gives to someone that's just maxed out. You done, you don't have anything, but this person has more than enough, an overabundance of enough, and they gifted. In some way, somehow, the lighter side of this pile, you and this person are going to act this way towards each other. Where you have an overabundance of energy of some form, you're going to fill this person's cup. Where they have an overabundance of some form, they're going to fill your cup. It will be mutual. That's the compromise. That's the karmic debt of where I know I have an excess of energy. I'm going to make sure you at least have enough. Okay. Where you have an excess of energy, you got to make sure that I'm up to speed, up to par with you. That's the balance of the union. The shadow is where you compromise in so much that you lose yourself. You have nothing. Okay, so watch it. Okay, the compromise where the shadow is where you're up here or down here, and that you're giving constantly to someone that just can't measure up, or someone's giving to you constantly where you can't measure up. You see what I'm saying? I got the clarity of the Ace of Swords, consciousness, right? Learning, compromise. I have the letter C here. Could be relevant in some way. We're compromising on consciousness, okay? And we're conscious of the way we compromise with others. Let me get one more. There we go. I got patience of the Seven of Pentacles, 6, 7 steps. Okay. The difference, right, is 1, and the aces represent 1 as well. When we talk about new beginnings and 1 space, if that makes sense, because we're giving here, charitable giving here, and we're collecting a harvest there. We have an overextending energy. So the pile, the shadow is the overextending, whether you're on the receiving end of it or you're the overextender. Okay. And we have someone that's compromising so much of their identity that they're suppressing themselves, constantly having to be patient, waiting for the time that they're gonna show themselves, show their real personality. That's what that was. It was someone feeling suppressed and not able to be who they actually are. They're smothered by the connection. Okay. Whereas the shadow, the lighter side, is the unveiling of what has historically been suppressed, right? The harvest. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Let me keep pulling. My pile 3, my apple pie. Tell me about this connection as far as if it's a past life. You know, I don't know that I've gotten one that has actually let me know, like, hey, is this a past life? This has been more of a what's the karma between the two of you reading, interestingly enough. I do have other versions of this where if you truly need to know if it's a past life, if that's relevant enough for you to care, I'm certain you have a pile in one of those previous videos that will tell you that explicitly. I got the mutable energy here, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces on the table that talks about surrender, fluidity, and welcoming change. And I've also got more Taurus energy. So somebody might actually overextend financially when we talk about the shadow, okay? And the lighter side is where you both uplift each other and play into each other's strengths. And it actually makes you more stable financially together, okay? All right. Tell me more about my pile 3, my apple pie. Tell me about this connection, any karma associated with it. I need to get a good shuffle. Make sure we're ready to go. Okay, pile 3. Tell me. We got the beach, ocean. It says ocean, water, cleanse, force, sense of consciousness. And the beach honestly feels like the good life. I'm so serious. It feels like two people that meet, and the whole point is that you use each other's strengths to ascend together to where you're kind of like just chilling in life. Like life gets a lot easier in union, right? Like life is much better in union than it ever would be with you single, or I guess with anyone else. I've got a red flag of caution, beware, toxic warnings, and danger. And you know, that shadow is here, okay? The shadow is here where we talk about someone that has you leaning too much into your comfort zone, or someone's taking advantage of the other, right? Like there's a lot of red flags. Some of you, very specifically, the red flag is one of you is really easygoing, possibly lazy, okay? And the other's having to overextend as a result. Let me get one more. Okay, 2. I got an ice queen and a tradition. Okay. And at the bottom, I've got social media. So social media could be relevant. But remember, all of that energy we got at the beginning of the pile, that loud network-based energy, Aquarius in the 11th house, that does in fact rule social media. So when we talk about possibly negative attention, negative energy on social media could be a thing. Where we're talking about just in a community, just a reputation thing. Like there's critical reputation based themes here on the table. Okay. And this, for some reason, is making me feel like there is a feminine that needs or is being asked to be really composed. I'll use that word. To compromise a certain way, right? To carry themselves a certain way. It feels like etiquette, right? The Ice Queen feels like etiquette. And it literally is layered with the traditional card of like a traditional bride, wife, whatever, where we talk about feminine energy. Feels like that is what is asked, possibly in a suppressing way to the connection, okay? And it doesn't have to be real. It could truly just be two incompatible people meant to teach each other karmic lessons on the shadow again, right? Of suppressing who you actually are, overly compromising just for the sake of being with somebody because it looks good on paper. I find that my couples like this are more like the ones that are like, well, this person's like this, I'm like that. That's absolutely compatible, but like not considering this beach energy of the depth, right? Of who you actually are, who they actually are beyond the way you want to live. You see what I'm saying? I see that. Okay. Because the lighter side is two people that just naturally fall in line with that. It doesn't feel like compromise. Like patience doesn't feel like you're working hard to be that way because you're in alignment with each other and what the other wants. Like being considerate of your partner doesn't feel like a chore because you're already in alignment with each other's desires and needs. That's why the lighter side is like that. Okay? So doesn't feel like you're having to give anything up for this person, right? Or at least not anything of value, anything that is at your core for this person, like a core aspect of yourself. So tell me more about my pile 3, my apple pie, the karmic contract between these two people. Okay. I also got a wave of a really specific thing. I'm a little scared of that reversal, but before I get to that, some of you, the funny part about it is I got a Ice Queen actually opening up and softening up via this connection. So it almost feels like this is a connection where a feminine is maybe like cold, like hard, and like softens up potentially to become more even maternal, right? Because the patience card here is a woman with child, right? Like maybe the feminine here begins to desire a family in a way maybe they were not. That's not the vibe in connecting with this masculine, okay? And doesn't have to be like necessarily gender specific. It could be two people of the same sex, right? Wanting to start. Now you want a house full of pets. You never liked animals, right? Things like that I see here, okay? Boom. What? I was already channeling that because I got children in reverse. You watch that on the shadow because we're talking about somebody that may, like one of your, the karmic is the discovery of whether or not you want children. And the shadow is the misalignment in that desire. Like someone here has kids or wants kids and the other is absolutely not interested. Right? This is the difference between a traditional feminine that desires motherhood and one that's like, nah. Okay? And even where we talk about, you know, having children, there's still an energy of not wanting the children to restrict that. Okay? But children in reversal is definitely a thing, and the lighter side is being on the same page. Like you finally met this person and you don't feel pressured to have kids, right? Or be a parent. Or you finally meet this person and realize, hey, I never wanted kids, but you know what? It's not that I didn't want kids. I was afraid to lose myself in being a mother, father. Like I do want kids with this person. right? Because again, some of you here, the karmic contract is literally to create a life, and you'll feel a strong, if not already, desire to procreate with this person or to adopt with this person, because you're meant to nurture a life together. Okay, there's peace, there's energy that you're both going to mutually pour into some soul, okay, whether biological or not, because we got this higher self energy. Okay, you'll be more in alignment with your higher self when connecting with this person. There is no confusion on the lighter side of who you are, who you want to be, and what it is you want out of life. It's very consistent, okay, in your identity. Like, it's not wishy-washy. I want this today, I don't want this tomorrow. Like, you're very secure in your higher self when connecting with the lighter side of this pile. It's the shadow side that gets really murky, because you don't know who you are, because you don't know who you are with this person, because you're either giving too much of yourself or you're draining this person. Okay, either or. So let me get this advice and close out my apple pie. Everything about the lighter side of this pile is certain. Doesn't feel like compromise, because I probably would have done it anyway, right? Doesn't feel like being patient, because that's the pace I naturally move, right? Doesn't feel like I need to overthink, because I'm already conscious. Just happiness, the sunflower of happiness. That's the advice, right? So where the shadow rears its head, are you happy? What would make you happy, right? The lighter side is, y'all happy. Just be happy, right? Let me see what's at the bottom. I got creativity. Lean into it. Be active. Creating that child. Okay. Connecting with that child. Okay. Whether biologically or not. That's the destiny. Like, that's the karmic that is on the lighter side. That, and in some instances, the shadow is still going to be the creation of the life. But once that contract of you were only meant to create a life together is up, that's when you'll realize the incompatibilities, and you'll just have to co-parent. It just is what it is. But my lighter side of this pile is, y'all meant to come together and build this tradition. Okay, if anything, I like the lighter side in that it feels like where there's a person that truly just was not interested in a family or children, or questioned whether they wanted a family or children, this is the only soulmate, whether you or this person towards you, this is the only soulmate that would have brought that happiness out in the desire and creation of that life. Like, anyone else you would be with, they would be with to have this child, would have been miserable. But I feel like there's someone here that's really happy to step into parenthood, and it wouldn't have worked out with anyone else. So congratulations, where that resonates for those of you. I'm going to close you out and move along to pile number 4. All right, pile 4, my peach pie. We're going to see, is this person a past life soulmate, divine masculine, divine feminine, and any karma between the two of you in this connection. Now, I'm just going to be honest with you. This pile, you know, I always make the joke, it's not that kind of a reading, because I don't know if this is one of those contracts to create a life or anything like that, but this is a very stimulated, sensually pile. Like, this is a pile where, like, you get each other going, and like that stimulation leads to something. So much so that I got, what do you need to release? And I've never read that card in a sensual way, but after I got all that stimulated energy, obviously that's what that feels like, right? So let me get you an overview so I can keep pulling and see. And you know what? It makes sense, because I got the expect powerful change, the new moon eclipse. It's like you are catalysts in each other's worlds, for better, for worse. So obviously don't get lost in ecstasy and like do anything chaotic, but that's what I've got here in the lightest of senses. You're going to create some powerful change with one another. Okay. We actually just had a few days, maybe a week ago, we had a solar eclipse. Okay. So new moon eclipse energy. Interestingly enough, this new moon eclipse was in the sign of Virgo. Okay, so this is a full moon in Virgo. Full moon in Virgo is relevant to the connection, past, present, and coming. But that solar eclipse, it's like something about this person. I think that's what the stimulation is this is a pile of like, you're supposed to boost each other's confidence. Like, you're supposed to make this person feel really good. This person's supposed to make you feel really good. And by extension of that, you really get each other going in a way that y'all better be careful of what y'all doing when, and your timelines of when you're looking to be expecting, okay? Where that's a possibility. Because, yes, there's a huge confidence boost here. Heavily stimulated energy. I've got the Fool of the Zero. So listen, that is energy of a new beginning, a fresh start. Like, there's this person, as you are to them, as a catalyst for some type of new era of confidence, of things just really working out for you. And obviously shadow would be not that, right? So let me pull more. I got two. Moment to Moment, Two of Pentacles. I've got the King of Cups of Healing and Awareness. So the thing that's really interesting is that I mentioned being really stimulated by each other and boosting each other's confidence. There's something about step by step of healing, which the sign of Virgo does rule. Okay, and the awareness of such. It feels like two people that literally make each other healthier. Like, being together day to day, sensually as well, is very, very healing for you. Okay, and awakening and stimulating beyond just sensual energy. Like, the sensual energy is more of an extension of the thrill of life that you instill in each other. That's the part. Right? So you're meant to be partners that stimulate each other towards whatever the destiny is. Okay? All right. So let me go ahead and pull these cards. This is actually, hilariously enough, I feel like some of y'all gonna be like, she rushed my pile. I'm not. The energy is so straightforward. Normally, this energy is reserved for like the earlier piles. But like, it just is what it is, right? I mentioned catalyst. We've got Pluto. Transformation. Right? Transition of health, of healing, of lifestyle. We got Pisces. Okay? Intimacy, intuition, and compassion. Right? So this full moon in Virgo happens around Pisces season. That's a critical time, along with the new moon eclipse. But that full moon in Virgo during Pisces season, past, present, and coming, get somebody going, whether we're talking about just stimulate someone to their purpose, path, their journey, their destiny, or when we talk about an awareness of healing and step by step, because Virgo rules your routines. It rules your structure, rules how you're organized and things like that. So moment to moment being the Two of Pentacles here and how you're juggling things, it feels like someone that helps put you on track with the regimen. Like, okay, we're going to eat at this time. We're going to like exercise and things like that. Like someone that really aligns in what's healthiest for you or brings your attention to such, encourages you there. Okay, so where we're talking about somebody that's not encouraging you to be healthy, that's encouraging unhealthy habits and things like that, that's the side we don't need to lean into, okay? So let me see. Tell me more about my pile 4. This is someone that's really good for your mental health. I mentioned the confidence already, but remember the Virgo Pisces axis is the one of wellness, whereas Virgo is your physical wellness and Pisces is more your mental, spiritual wellness. So this is someone that's just really good for you, or they're not. Like, there is no in between. Okay? I got an Ice Queen here. Tell me more. What is that? Slowly opening up, I guess. That's the words I heard. Tell me more. Okay, I got a Forest. Forest rules hidden things. Okay, hidden wealth, hidden abundance. Okay, and so it feels like someone that kind of opens you up like a flower. Like has the petals bloom and open up as the flower grows. Like, that's what it is. It feels like someone slowly opening you up, regardless of your gender, and it being the most amazing thing. Qualities you didn't realize you had, right? Qualities you never thought to have, right? Feels like when I talk about 12th house synastry, I don't see it here heavily beyond the Pisces energy. What I do see, actually, we can just take that as 12th house energy, along with this Pluto kind of being more 8th house vibes as well. Could have both or one dominantly in synastry, because the side that I'm saying to lean into feels like a hidden ally, someone you don't even realize how much beneficial to your day-to-day they are, right? And vice versa. Like, this is someone that is so healthy. This is a connection that is so healthy that you literally are improved in your day-to-day routines as a result of this person. Okay? Perfect harmony, right? We got you are my world, right? The Libra scales here. So that's what I'm saying. Like, perfect match. Okay? The end. I'm like knocking the camera over, but I'm serious. Like, some of y'all are gonna be like, Shira, start reading. I mean, there's nothing else to say. The shadow is what it is. The lighter side is what it is. Like, it's someone that's literally helping you heal. Like, if anything, it feels like a couple on the light side. Like, this person's meant to feed you and like take care of you, and vice versa. Like, you cook for each other. Or one is more fit, so like you help each other stay physically active, because that one's really active physically. The other is really good about nutrition, so that person makes sure you both eat healthy. Like, feels like a couple that's gonna live a long, healthy life, quite literally. And in the process of that, is very fulfilled, very confident in themselves to pursue their journey, to pursue their hidden talents and things like that. Okay? So tell me more about my peach pie. Yeah, you know what's funny? I was gonna say I'll pull 3-4 of this deck since this pile is just like blazing through, but I didn't have to. We got make a move. Make a move. I've got the best part. And then I've got a third party. Now, why are you here? Why are you here? This is okay, so there's another karmic contract on the table, and it's not, I mean, I'm not worried about the shadow. I don't have time for it. There's a lighter side third party here where you maybe have someone that's meant to initiate this connection. Like, that's part of their path, their journey is connecting you two. Okay? And it feels like a really, really good friend. Maybe family member, but just the best part is this person connected you. Okay? And I got a final shot. Okay, especially where maybe someone lost faith in love, didn't think that they would ever find love, didn't think that this connection would bloom. That person, I'm confirming the lighter side of that person connecting the two here on the table is a thing. There's a final shot towards a destiny, towards a union here. It's crazy because I don't know who that person would be. I've never gotten that in a love reading before, but that's literally part of that person's destiny, is this union. It's helping have a hand in this union. So interesting. Third party also feels like there's something you two are going to create together. Now, I obviously believe this is that pile of creating a life where that makes sense, but it's beyond just creating a life like children. There's some type of project, some type of endeavor that this third party represents. Okay? And like, it's something that's going to bring you to a lot of joy, as well as obviously others. But like, we have the best part of this union is this third party. Now, a lot of you, it is going to be a child, literally, but there's something here that the best part of this union is this third party. Okay? So tell me, and like I said, there is a theme of making a move and having a final shot. And you know, your advice is like, you should have done it already, leaning into finding love. Now, the shadow is obviously moving beyond the shadow to find love, where this does not resonate. The lighter side that I dominantly read because it was so loud. Okay. Here it's saying, because it fell in a maturing sense, my lighter side of the pile, you have found love. Okay. And financial security. Okay. A lighter side of this pile has found love and financial security. My shadow side is being encouraged, heavily encouraged, to go out and find love and to stabilize financially. Okay. So that is all I have for you today, my pile number 4. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I'm going to close it all out now.